church. How is everyone? Good. Okay, so I know that, oh my goodness, it's politics in church. But if we don't talk about it in church, how are we going to know what's right? So I'm not qualified probably to talk about this. I'm in no way, form, or fashion a politician, nor do I have any legal background. But I do love the Lord, and I believe the Lord loves life, and as a Christian we should too. So today, as my husband said, I'm going to be talking on the Love Life Amendment. So I do work for a Christian pro-life ministry, so this amendment is very important to me, and it should be to all Christians. So has everybody heard before today about this amendment? Nobody? Okay. Well, I'm going to try to explain it as best as can in a way that can be understood again. I'm not a politician and I'm not a lawyer, so there's that. I am only qualified because my husband asked me to do this. You get asked to do a lot of things when you're the pastor's wife, and they just think that you can do them. And also, I do love the Lord, and He compels me to do things that I'm uncomfortable with, so there's that too. So this question I already asked you if you've heard about it, and it does concern me that so many people have not heard about this amendment. So it's up to us to get it out, so that's what I'm going to ask you guys to do today after I explain it. So I'm going to ask you a few questions. They may be on the screen. Sorry, Renee, I'm not used to this presentation slide thing, so just forgive me if I get ahead of you. So who or what creates human life? And I want audience participation. The quicker you answer, the quicker we get to go to lunch. So we'll just be here if you don't want to answer. So who or what creates a human life? God. Yay, good. And so at what point are we considered alive? Is it at conception? Is it at birth? Or is it somewhere in between there? At conception, yes. According to the Bible, that is correct. And so there's a lot of verses on that subject in the Bible, and I'm just going to give you a few of them. So Isaiah 44:24 says, "This is what the Lord says, your Redeemer who formed you in the womb. I am the Lord, the maker of all things, who stretches out the heavens, who spreads out the earth by myself." So who said it? The Lord said it. And He said He formed you in the womb. And Psalm 139:13 also says, "You made all the delicate inner parts of my body and knit me together in my mother's womb." That's David talking, and the "you" there is also the Lord. The Lord made all the parts and knit him together in his mother's womb, just as He does us. Jeremiah 1:4-5 says, "The Lord gave me this message. I knew you before I formed you in your mother's womb. Before you were born, I set you apart and appointed you as my prophet to the nations." So biblically, we can see that God creates life, and it's at conception. It's not at 20 weeks. It's not at birth. We are alive as soon as there's conception. There's a lot of science in that, and I'm not going to go into that because I'm not a scientist, but I do have enough sense to know when conception is. And so God is saying that it's in the womb. He knew us before we were created. He has all our days laid out, the Bible tells us. So biblically, we can confidently say as Christians that we believe that a life is at conception. So, but today we know in our current cultural climate that that's not what people are saying, that just because it's true for me may not be true for you. There's a lot of relative truth, and we know as Christians that the Bible is our truth, and so we know that life begins at conception. And so why am I even talking about this today? Why are we concerned? Why should we as Christians be concerned about this issue of abortion and having restrictions to access? Well, again, as Christians, we have our Bible, and we can always go to our Bible if we don't know what's going on, and if we don't know what we should do about something. Our Bible is our guide. So I also have some verses that we're going to talk about there. Psalm 82:3-4 says, "Defend the weak and the fatherless. Uphold the cause of the poor and the oppressed. Rescue the weak and the needy. Deliver them from the hand of the wicked." And it's my opinion that abortion is wicked and of the devil. And so if that's not a verse that we can use for that, because that would be what if we pass this amendment, and I think we will, we're going to deliver unborn babies from the hand of the wicked. Proverbs 31:8 says, "Speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves. Ensure justice for those being crushed." So we can be a voice for the voiceless. A lot of times we as Christians say, well, what can I do? Well, it's easy to show up and vote. That's pretty easy this year. And so we're going to talk about the Love Life Amendment now. It is an amendment to the Louisiana Constitution, not the U.S. Constitution, just our Louisiana Constitution. It's going to be on the November 3rd ballot, and it's going to be the number 1 amendment. So what you have to remember is vote yes, number 1. That's pretty simple. And you'll have your cards and things that we've given you. And so what that's going to do is there's a couple of impacts it's going to have. Of course, we know Roe v. Wade made abortion legal in all 50 states. So it's legal. But what this is going to do for Louisiana is if Roe v. Wade, and I say if, but I mean when, Roe v. Wade is overturned, it kind of gives the power back to the state to enact the laws that they want to, that we've already got. It keeps our laws. We have some good pro-life laws in Louisiana, y'all, and I'm going to go through that in a minute. It also, the wording is there can be found no right to abortion in our Constitution. I'm going to tell you about that in just a second, too. So the immediate impact, and this may be on the screen, the immediate impact of this amendment is to make sure that Louisiana's current pro-life laws, such as informed consent, parental consent, ultrasound laws, and there's also a 24-hour waiting period. Like if a young lady shows up at the abortion clinic, there has to be a 24-hour waiting period before she can actually go back and have that. And these are good laws. Long-term impact, if and when, I have if, but when the Supreme Court overturns or modifies Roe v. Wade, this amendment would ensure that there is no right to abortion or the taxpayer funding of abortion found in our Louisiana state constitution. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't want my taxpayer dollars going to fund abortions. So that is a good law, and we want it to say that. So this, I'm going to kind of give you an example. I'm going to read this. I found this on the Louisiana Right to Life website. And any of this stuff is on there, and a lot of it's in your little card or brochure. But if you have questions, more questions after we're done today, the Louisiana Right to Life website is a great resource, so go there, and they have a lot of things for you to look at. But I want to read you this, and this kind of is an example of why we want our Constitution to say there's no right to abortion. Last January, New York legalized abortion up until the day that a baby would be born. Can you even imagine? They lit up the One World Trade Center in pink to celebrate unrestricted access to abortion. Last April, the Kansas Supreme Court struck down a pro-life law passed in Kansas by saying there is a constitutional right to abortion in the Kansas Constitution, even though the word abortion is not found there. With this, Kansas joined 12 other states where a right to abortion was found in their constitution. And I think there's a slide that...
Which one?
The billboard.
Billboard.
Mm-hmm. I just want you to see this. Can you read it? This says, vote no on Amendment 1, and it's funded by the New Orleans Abortion Fund. And what it says is fight for health care. Well, I don't believe abortion is health care. Support families. Well, how does abortion support families? Protect abortion. And so you see this billboard, and I'm sure there's many like that, but this was on the Louisiana Right to Life Facebook page. And the reason I bring this up is because there are states that will send judges and lawyers, and they pour millions of dollars into funding like this. So the opposition is strong, and y'all, we're not just fighting people, we're fighting darkness. We're to be the light, and this is dark, and it's heavy, and we are to fight back. And so don't think for 1 minute that they're not out there fighting just as hard, if not harder, because when I tell you, they send people and they spend millions to oppose what we're doing. And I would not be surprised if some of these groups are at the polls, just saying, because if you Google, what was it I Googled this morning? If you Google, I think the right to abortion in Louisiana, just Google that and you will get all kinds of things. And most of it doesn't come up like the pro-life laws, it's the opposition. And one website even said that pretty much the abortion laws hang on what we do in Louisiana. I mean, if we're going to be good at something, I guess be good at that in Louisiana. So we don't want there to be found a right to abortion in our Constitution. And so, again, if you'll go to Louisiana Right to Life and look at all of those laws. And also this Love Life Amendment has a website that's pretty informative too. So I have some numbers that I want us to look at. Okay, there we go. Okay, so in Louisiana, and this is I want you to look at these numbers because Louisiana has really good pro-life laws, and we have restrictions to abortion, and those are in place. We want those to stay there. But then there's some states that are really lax, that really just don't have a whole lot of anything about abortion. So in Louisiana in 2017, there were 8,706 abortions, which are way too many. But let's look at the next one. New Jersey in 2017. 21,484 abortions. And that's probably not all, because as you can read, that only hospitals and licensed ambulatory care facilities in New Jersey are required to report. So this total doesn't reflect the truth. So there was probably way more than that. So, y'all, that's a difference of 12,778 lives lost just in 2017. And so I know this is not new to me, but I've heard it said, so what if one of these babies that didn't have a chance was the person that had the cure for cancer? Or anything else, but a cure for cancer, yeah, would be great. So let's look at the next one. U.S. abortions in 2017 were approximately 862,320. And that had gone down from some of the previous years. So, what was that, Bill? Yes. So let's look at the next one. The total number of abortions in the U.S. from 1973, which was when Roe v. Wade was enacted, to 2008, 61.8 million plus. And I think we read this morning that it was more like today, it would be more like 65 million. Y'all, that is a lot of people. That is a lot of babies. What are we doing? So, the next one, more lives have been taken by abortion than the current population of the states of Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida combined. Is that not astounding? It's sobering and eye-opening. But, if there is a high note to any of this, the Americans United for Life has a list of all the states and where they stand on the human right to life. I'm all good. Yep, there it is. And so how they rank these states are by their abortion laws. And look at us. Louisiana is the most pro-life state in the nation. And we're very proud of that. Again, if we're going to be good at something, let it be this. We're usually dead last in everything, but this is great. So, seeing this, I picked New Jersey because it's way down at the bottom. Vermont's dead level last, but New Jersey's just a little bit better. But these are states way over here that have very little restriction to abortion. But Louisiana, we have a lot, and we want it to stay that way. And that's why we need to get out and vote yes on this Love Life Amendment. It's number 1 on the ballot. We're all going to be there voting on the president anyway, so go and vote for this amendment. And y'all, it is our duty as Christians to not vote with a political affiliation, with a party. We are to vote kingdom agenda and vote our biblical values. If we say that we believe life begins at conception, then we need to get out and support this because we are going to have a lot of opposition, but we don't want to fall asleep on this issue. And so we know what the Lord wants us to do. He's not pleased with what is going on in our country with all the abortion of all these babies, but he will be pleased with us getting out and voting. And y'all didn't know about it, so it makes me think a lot of people don't know about it. So get out and tell your friends, tell people, take these cards. We have extra. I can get more. We're going to get some signs, and I don't know how many I can get, but at least one out here for the church. If I have more, if you want one, you're welcome to get one and put in your yard. So we need to just be the voice for the voiceless and just get out and talk about it and let people know and take these cards and pass them out. And that's pretty much all I have.
Amen.